good morning, listeners. Today we are honored to have Her Excellency ستيفاني ماكولوم, the Canadian ambassador to Lebanon, joining us from Beirut. As the situation in Lebanon worsens, the Canadian government has stepped up efforts to ensure the safety of Canadians in the region. Foreign Minister Mélanie Joly recently, yesterday, announced that 800 additional seats have been secured for Canadians' permanent residents and their immediate family members, with the next flight scheduled for today. Ambassador Mاكولوم is here with us online from Beirut to provide us with important updates on the evacuation process, and I would like to welcome her. Welcome, Your Excellency, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Rania. It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning.
Ambassador, could you provide an update on the current evacuation efforts and the challenges Canada is facing given the severity of the situation?
Certainly. First, I think what I would say is that this is not an evacuation. Canada is not offering an evacuation or assisted departure at this time. There remain commercial options available to travel outside of Lebanon should people wish to do so. So Canadians could do this by air. They could do it by maritime options. There are maritime companies taking people to Turkey or Cyprus. There are also land options. So there still exist many different commercial options to leave Lebanon, and what we are doing is we are helping connect Canadians to these options. So as you said, Rania, you mentioned Minister Joly's tweet last night. You'll see that she says we are now augmenting commercial capacity. So it means we're helping identify big blocks of commercial availability, and we're making sure Canadians can book their tickets directly with the airline or the boat company, etc., directly. So we're just helping them find ways to exit Lebanon while commercial means are still available.
But if the situation gets worse, is there any plan to evacuate people the same way we saw in other places or in 2006?
Certainly, embassies all around the world, part of our job is to plan for emergencies that could happen and how we could help Canadians who need our help. You will know, because we've spoken before, but for almost 1 year now, we've been warning Canadians not to travel to Lebanon, and we've been asking Canadians who are here to leave while they can, so that they do not need assistance from the government. We don't want Canadians to put themselves in a situation where they'll need emergency assistance, because any sort of evacuation or emergency assistance is always an option of last resort. And we don't want Canadians to put themselves in options of last resort. We want them to use the available services now and get out of harm's way and not put themselves in an emergency situation. But of course, if this happens and there are no other options and we must look at last resort options, we have a plan, a very robust plan for multiple situations that we hope we can put in place for Canadians. We don't control the environment here in Lebanon, of course, so it might not be possible for us to do our plan, or it may take many days before it's safe enough for Canadians to reach us. Yep. So this is why, again, we're asking Canadians, don't put yourself in the position of needing our help. Get out while you can.
Your Excellency, Minister Joly mentioned in her tweet yesterday that the evacuation or the plan we have for now includes Canadians, permanent residents, and their immediate family members. Could you please explain what qualifies as immediate family in this context?
So again, because this is not an evacuation, we're just helping the families connect through to existing commercial options. This is up to the commercial carrier. For us, in past assisted departures, when the Government of Canada has done this, we've used the definition under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, which defines immediate family as spouse and non-married dependent children under the age of 22.
Mm-hmm. Many of our listeners are concerned also about their extended family members. Are there any options available for those who want to bring family members who may not fit with the immediate family category?
Again, I think, we really understand that Canadians have extended families, of course, and many of them are here with their families, and this is why they have not left. But this is also why Canadians with extended family should not be waiting for Government of Canada assistance and should use commercial means, because commercial means, if you have a travel document and you're ready to travel, they don't limit. You can buy an airline ticket, you can buy a charter ticket. There are no restrictions by commercial companies this way. So we would again encourage Canadians, if this is the case and they're concerned about their extended family, which we completely understand, all the more reason to leave now by commercial means. So you have this flexibility for your extended family.
A number of listeners have raised concerns about not being able to afford the costs associated with the options of leaving now in the ways now the government is suggesting, especially given the economic situation in Lebanon. What support is available for those facing financial difficulties during this process?
Right. So we completely understand that some Canadians may need help. Again, government assistance is a last resort. So normally what we do is first we should encourage all Canadians who have these kinds of questions or concerns to contact us. So we can talk to them, we can help them through what options are available. So I would encourage them very much to contact us and see what we can do, because every situation is different and personal, But normally the first step is we help them secure private sources of funding. Can we talk with their employer or their boss to see if there's some available funds or loans through their employment? What about family, friends who could potentially help them and lend them some money that they would need to travel? And then again, in the last resort, we do have loan options for Canadians. They are repayable loans so that they can repatriate to Canada. And so normally what this looks like is we would purchase the commercial ticket for them to go to Canada as a loan, which they would repay us when they're able to do this.
Ambassador Mاكولوم, how is the Canadian Embassy ensuring that citizens in more remote or hard-to-reach areas are informed and supported during these efforts?
That's a good question, Rania. Thank you. Yes, we have Canadian citizens all over Lebanon. And so luckily, the critical infrastructure so far has not been damaged. And so everyone has reliable access so far to internet, to email, to telephone, to WhatsApp. And so we are using a range of options. We post on our social media. We post on our Facebook. We send messages to those who are registered in the registrations of Canadians abroad. We have a warden network. These are volunteer citizens, Canadian citizens here throughout the country. And as you said, especially remote areas. And we regularly speak with them, and they go in their communities and they spread the information as well. So we are very active in making sure we're reaching all Canadians in every corner of Lebanon. And so that, as we've been saying for the last year, we can provide them with the warnings and our advice that they should be leaving while commercial options remain available.
Some of the listeners wrote to me saying that they didn't receive any information from the embassy. So what do they need to do to get in contact with you?
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. So there are a variety of ways, and your listeners probably can't write this down. So I guess if there's one thing to remember, there's one website that has all the contact information you need, not only for the embassy, but emergency contacts in Canada as well. And that's travel.gc for Government of Canada, .ca. Travel.gc.ca. In French, voyage.gc.ca. There they will see all of our information. They can register with us. So this is a subscription service, so they register to be in our database, and any time we send messages, they will get them. They can see the dedicated email that we have right now, which you would have seen in Minister Jolie's tweet. So there's a dedicated email for everybody in the Middle East. And, of course, email, address, phone number, our social media channels for the embassy here in Lebanon. Luckily, for the last year of the conflict, we have been able to operate as normal. So Canadians have been making appointments. They've been coming to see us. They've been calling us, emailing us. We remain open to
So if they don't hear from you, if they don't hear from you, they have to contact you through the channels or the contacts you have provided, Your Excellency. What about the employees and their families in the embassy?
Yeah, all the employees and their families are safe and accounted for. This is a big priority for us. The safety and security of our staff is very important. As I said, we continue to operate normally, but of course there's a psychological toll on everyone. It's been 1 year of conflict. Everyone knows friends or family who's been affected. The civilian toll, so many innocent people killed and injured, it does affect everyone deeply. So, but from a physical security perspective, from a safety perspective, the embassy family is still coming every day and supporting each other here through our daily work.
Your Excellency, in terms of Canada's diplomatic efforts, what role are you playing in helping to calm the situation right now in Lebanon?
So you will have seen recently, last week, a statement by Canada, G7 countries, EU countries, Gulf countries, our partners, calling for de-escalation, urging a 21-day ceasefire so that, as you said, a political or diplomatic solution can be found that would be in line with United Nations Security Resolution 1701 that would allow families in both Lebanon and Israel to return to their homes safely and securely near the border. So we continue to advocate for this. We meet with local stakeholders. We offer Canadian assistance on a path forward. But really it is trying to urge de-escalation, urge a ceasefire so that those discussions on a political or diplomatic solution can take place.
Your Excellency, I would like to thank you for providing these critical updates and for your efforts in ensuring the safety of Canadians in Lebanon. Would you like to add anything to what you have mentioned?
No, I think I've said it multiple times, and I thank you for letting me repeat myself. But I think what I would want to say to our Canadians is please get to safety now, take commercial options, and do not put yourself in an emergency situation in Lebanon. But if you need us, travel.gc.ca. We are still here, and we will do our best to help you no matter what.
We greatly appreciate your time and the work your team, yourself and your team is doing under such difficult circumstances. Stay safe, please, and thank you again for joining us today.
Many thanks. Have a good day.
Have a good day yourself. Thank you.
Bye-bye.